Hello and welcome to Boardscape. I'm Aaron, and today I want to help you know whether you should back My Father's Work by Renegade Games. Now, this game is doing very well. Obviously, it's got almost $500,000 raised, 5,000 backers, 8 days to go, and Renegade Games knows what they are doing. This game is going to have one pledge level, and that's at $100. So there's not even going to be a lot of finagling and deciding exactly what you want. It's either you get it or you don't. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different video than I usually make because I'm going to try a different format, and I want you to leave a comment below letting me know whether or not you like this format by the end of this video. Now, a couple days ago, about a week ago, I uploaded a video where I go over my top 10, the top 10 things that I look at in a campaign to see if a game is for me or not. And so I'm going to run through those and just sort of lay it out for myself whether or not My Father's Work is a game for me, and hopefully through that I can help you decide as well. Now, the first thing to look at is going to be we'll just go ahead and take a quick scroll through the campaign and take a look at what we're getting. So, My Father's Work is going to be an action or a worker placement game where you are playing as a mad scientist over generations trying to complete your masterpieces. All these things. You're creating love potions, lycanthropic strength, teleportation, just your masterpiece, weird science experiments. And they've decked this game out when it comes to components. You're getting minis and glass vials and just some very good looking materials that this game is going to look amazing sitting on the table, right? So it's also going to come with different scenarios, which we'll touch into later. But these scenarios are basically going to just change the way the game is played, because as you play the game, everything changes. The app will be telling you to do things, and so the fact that these are based on the app and what that's telling you to do, these scenarios sort of change the layout of what is going on at the beginning and throughout the game, but it's not a campaign. So we'll take a look at those in a little while. You're getting game trays. They do their thing with the organizer. This is your village board, your estate, which the estate is going to be one of the main things that you're upgrading throughout the game, because that's what's going to go on. This game is played in generations, so I believe it's 4 generations. You're going to have different workers that can go to different locations, and at the end of that generation, all of your stuff is lost except what is in your estate. So you can upgrade your knowledge in your estate, meaning you'll start better in the next generation, and you can update and upgrade your actual estate, and those will carry over as well. So this whole generation idea is very interesting. The fact that you're starting over a couple different times just really seems very interesting to me. You're going to have different victory point things that you're trying to achieve. Here's some of these ingredients, these resources that look amazing, and I do see that these are actual glass vials. So that's interesting. You could even knock it up a notch if you wanted to and put some different colored liquids in there, I guess. I don't know. And so you're going to have your different characters, your wife, your different people, your servant, your caretaker, your spouse, you, all these people. All the while you are trying to collect different resources from the community, donating to the church so that you can continue to do so without really pissing them off. Bad cut there. So let's go ahead and get into the 10 things that I look at. The first is going to be whether or not this game can be played solo, and the answer is going to be no. Their very first FAQ here, is there a solo version? They say no. They created this to be a competitive multiplayer game where your and your opponent's choices impact what the story is, impact the app, impact everything, and that a solo version would be an inferior product. And I'm going to go ahead and say right off the bat, and maybe I shouldn't say this too early, but there's going to be quite a few things in these 10 things that I look at that rub me the wrong way. But that one, if they had a dedicated solo mode, I would be backing this game. The fact that they don't is keeping me away. Primarily because the theme and some of the other things that we'll touch at later will not get played in my house. The people that I play with just don't really care about gothic horror type games, so would not get played with anybody that I play with right now. Can it be played solo? No. Can it be played 2 or 3 player? Under about a 3.5 rating on BGG. Now that's always very oh look, earlier I said 4 generations, it's 3 generations. Anyways, rating what this would be at on BGG is always a little finagly, but I would say that this looks like it could be played in about that level, give or take. So, can it be played 2 or 3 player? Yes. Under 3.5? Yes. But not 2 or 3 player with the people that I currently have playing in my groups. Is it app dependent? I don't like app dependent games. The answer to this, again, is yes. This is a very app dependent game. Almost everything that you do, the story itself that is progressing, is told through the app. And so, I'm not a fan of that, but that did not rub me enough away to not back it, but the solo player did. App dependent, yes, you have to use the app. No ifs, ands, or buts. Is this an exclusive game is number 4, or what is it about this that should make me back now opposed to getting it later? The fact is, everything here is... it's not Kickstarter exclusive, because it will not be sold through distribution. So they don't claim Kickstarter exclusive. It won't be sold at things like Miniature Market and Game Nerds outside of the copies that they purchase. But this game will always be purchasable. Well, maybe not always, but will be purchasable on Renegade Game Studios' website. So there is nothing really making me... There's really nothing making me want to back this now, opposed to later. Because, I mean, I might end up paying an extra $20 in the future. If so, big whoop. But as far as Kickstarter exclusives, I don't think there's much. So, that is something to keep in mind, that if it's not a game that you think would get played now, but would later, just wait a year or 2 and pick it up on Renegade's Game Studios website. Number 5 is going to be what is similar in my collection, both theme-wise and mechanic-wise. Theme-wise, really the only thing in my collection right now that is similar to this would be Abomination, which is a game that's not getting played and is probably going in the get rid of pile, the sell pile. As far as theme, as far as mechanics, you have your basic worker placement type mechanics. This does it a little bit different in that you have certain workers that can go to certain places, but there's games like that out there. The thing that I really like about this, mechanic-wise, is the reset. The fact that you're playing basically 3 rounds, 3 games, 3 generations, where every time they start over. So you're sort of building up your generations, trying to get better and better by building up your estate that we talked about earlier. I really like that. The only game in my collection that has a reset mechanic like that is Brass Birmingham, where halfway through the game you switch from boats to rails. So, canals to rails. So, that theme, I keep saying theme, that mechanic is one that really, really caught my attention and makes me a lot more interested in this game than usual. Number 6, can I get my money back? I would guess no. I might be able to sell it for 75 to somebody close by, maybe 50 or 60 online if people are paying for shipping as well. Now, I'm no expert in getting money back and selling games online. I've done it a bunch, but the fact that this is not Kickstarter exclusive and will be available on their website really drives that value down. So if I end up not liking the game or not playing it, there will be a loss there. Now, what's the time to play? Let's go back to this FAQ where they say, how long does it take to play? Obviously, it varies, but they say about 180 minutes, which for me is insane. I don't personally usually have 3 hours to sit down and play a game. Now, they do say that the app will save your progress, so I'm not sure exactly how that looks. You might be able to play an hour and come back to that same game later. It might have a very good save system. I've not looked into that part enough to really know. But the fact that it takes 3 hours to play, that's a big ding in my book, because there are a lot of 2.5, 3.5 hour games in my collection that just don't get played because they are too long. Number 8, if I saw this game, if I was interested in this game at this price and went to Miniature Market, where I'm a couple hours away from, I go there every so often, and saw this game on their shelves for $100, would I pick it up? I think the answer is yes. If at that time I was interested in the game and it was this price in the store, now that's not including shipping, but for $100, I think I would probably pick that up. So, number 9, is it campaign-based? The answer is no. It's not campaign-based, it's scenario-based. Which it comes with 3 different scenarios, and again, these are going to be entire ways that the story is told being different. So each scenario, 60,000 plus words, 350 plus story events, and so those are huge changes. The first scenario is the cost of disease. The yellow fever has struck the village, and you're doing crap with that. The second, and it includes like wolf tokens, creepy tokens, all these things that you can look at. The second scenario is fear of the unknown, where the region is rife with superstition, and it changes maybe a little bit of what you're doing with the church, witchcraft, all these sorts of things. So it comes with these different tokens and things that you can look into. And then scenario 3 is a time of war. A specter of war haunted the small village, and you're dealing with that. So 3 huge things, each one being played completely differently and changing everything that is going on. And the same story is not going to be told every time. This is not, as far as I understand, one of those scenarios that you just play through and you're done. It's not a Gloomhaven scenario. You don't play it once and know everything. So each scenario is going to sort of be in the backdrop of this worker placement world, and will impact what you do. And I find that very interesting. I like that, because they could have easily just made it one of these and not thought any more about it, but they're giving us different things that we can do. I like that. Now, number 10, the final one is plays. How much am I spending per play? And of course, as I've said before, this is completely just random conjecture. You could do hours, you could do plays, anything, just to give yourself a base idea of your cost per play, cost per hour. If you played this game without shipping at $100 for 5 plays, then every time you play it, this would be costing you $20. If you play it 10 times, then every time you play it, it'll cost you $10. Which really, as far as bigger Kickstarters go, is not that bad. So that's something to consider. Will you play this game 5-10 times? Is it one that you think is worth sitting down and dealing out $10-15 every time you play? Obviously, every time you play, that cost goes down, but that's for you to decide. For me, I think that it looks worth $100. Just, man, if they had that solo mode, if they sneak that in there at the end, which I don't think they are, then they'll get my money and the late pledge. But maybe enough people will clamor for it that they say they'll do it. Either way, let me know what you think about My Father's Work. Are you backing it? Are you interested? And what did you think about this format? Did you like this walkthrough and seeing how I look at it? Or would you like more of a basic rundown? What could I change or improve in this video? Let me know. And while you're down there, if you found this helpful at all, go ahead and subscribe, please. It'll definitely help me out. Oh, and obviously check out my Patreon, where you can help make this way better than it already is, because there's a lot of room for growth here. But hopefully, just as time progresses, we'll get there. So as always, thank you for joining me, and game on.